What happens when a man who already lives on the edge decides the normal rules no longer apply? That's the terrifying question hanging over General Hospital as Sonny takes extreme measures on May 8th. Not cautious moves, not careful strategy, extreme measures. And in Port Charles, whenever Sonny reaches that point, one thing is guaranteed. Someone's life is about to change forever. General Hospital spoilers. Sonny takes extreme measures on May 8th. In Port Charles, there are moments when tension simmers quietly beneath the surface. Characters maneuver carefully, alliances shift subtly, and conflicts unfold through conversation and strategy. Then there are moments when everything escalates. May 8th appears to be one of those moments, because Sonny, a character already associated with intensity, power, and decisive action, is pushed towards something more dangerous than usual. The spoilers do not simply suggest concern or urgency. They suggest escalation. They suggest that Sonny believes ordinary solutions are no longer enough. And when Sonny reaches that conclusion, the consequences are rarely contained. Sonny Corinthos, a character defined by control. Sonny Corinthos has always operated in extremes. Even in moments of calm, there is intensity beneath the surface. What makes Sonny compelling is not just his power, but the contradiction within him. Protective yet dangerous, strategic yet emotional, controlled yet explosive under pressure. This balance creates unpredictability, because Sonny can remain composed for long periods until something pushes him beyond his limit. And May 8th feels like exactly that kind of turning point. What extreme measures really means. The phrase itself matters. Extreme measures implies a break from normal behavior, a willingness to cross lines, a decision made under intense pressure. This is not routine problem solving. It suggests Sonny believes the stakes are high enough to justify actions he might otherwise avoid, and that shift changes the emotional atmosphere immediately. The trigger. Why Sonny escalates. Sonny rarely escalates without reason. Something or someone has pushed him into a position where he feels immediate action is necessary. Possible triggers may include threats against loved ones, betrayal, loss of control, discovery of hidden information. Regardless of the exact cause, the key factor is urgency. Sonny no longer believes patience is an option. The difference between strategy and reaction. Normally, Sonny balances instinct with calculation. He reacts emotionally, but he also plans. Extreme measures suggest that balance is beginning to shift. Emotion may now be driving strategy rather than supporting it. That distinction is critical, because emotionally driven action often creates unintended consequences. Power and pressure in Port Charles. Power in Port Charles is fragile. It depends on reputation, influence, perception, stability. When Sonny feels pressure building around him, maintaining control becomes essential, not just personally, but symbolically. If he appears weak, vulnerable, or uncertain, others may respond accordingly. Extreme action, therefore, may not just be emotional. It may also be strategic messaging. The fear factor. One of Sonny's greatest strengths is psychological. People fear what he is capable of, not because he acts recklessly, but because they know he is willing to act decisively when necessary. That fear shapes behavior around him. So when Sonny takes extreme measures, it sends a message across Port Charles. The situation has become serious, very serious. The emotional core, beneath the violence. What separates Sonny from purely destructive characters is emotional motivation. His actions are usually connected to protection, loyalty, family, survival. Even his harshest decisions are often rooted in emotional stakes. That emotional core makes him complicated rather than purely dangerous, and it makes viewers understand why he escalates, even when they fear the outcome. The ripple effect begins immediately. The moment Sonny escalates, the ripple effect spreads. Other characters begin reacting. Some become defensive, some become fearful, some attempt to intervene. Because Sonny's actions never affect only one situation, they reshape the emotional and strategic environment around him. Why extreme measures are so dangerous. The danger is not just the action itself, it is what happens after. Extreme measures create instability. They can trigger retaliation, damage relationships, expose vulnerabilities, escalate existing conflicts, and once escalation begins, regaining control becomes difficult. Sonny's internal conflict. One of the most compelling aspects of Sonny's character is internal contradiction. Part of him values restraint. Another part believes restraint can become weakness. On May 8th, those two sides appear to collide. And when that happens, Sonny often chooses decisive force over hesitation. Not because he enjoys chaos, but because he fears losing control more. The burden of leadership. Sonny's position carries pressure. People rely on him, fear him, challenge him. Protecting that position requires constant vigilance. Extreme measures may reflect more than personal emotion. They may reflect the burden of maintaining authority in a volatile environment. Because leadership in Port Charles is never passive. It must constantly be defended. The possibility of miscalculation. Even powerful characters miscalculate, and emotionally charged decisions increase that risk dramatically. Sonny may believe his actions will solve a problem, protect someone, reassert control, but unintended consequences often emerge later, especially when actions are taken under emotional pressure. The psychological atmosphere of the storyline. This storyline succeeds because it creates tension before the full action even unfolds. The phrase extreme measures alone creates anticipation. It suggests escalation, urgency, potential danger. And because Sonny carries such strong narrative history, viewers immediately understand the stakes. Relationships at risk. Whenever Sonny escalates, personal relationships become vulnerable. People closest to him may question his choices, fear his actions, attempt to stop him. This emotional fallout is just as important as the external conflict. Because Sonny's greatest battles are often relational, not physical. The thin line between protection and destruction. One of the central themes in Sonny's storylines is the blurred line between protecting others and causing additional harm. He often believes drastic action is necessary for protection, but drastic action can create new dangers. This tension makes his character compelling because his intentions and outcomes do not always align. Why Sonny remains such a powerful character. Sonny endures as a central figure because he represents emotional intensity. He is never passive, never emotionally detached. Every action feels significant because it is connected to deep personal stakes. That intensity drives storylines forward. And on May 8th, it appears ready to explode again. The atmosphere of escalation. The emotional tone surrounding this storyline feels heavier than usual. There is a sense that boundaries are disappearing. Patience is ending. Conflict is approaching a breaking point. This atmosphere creates suspense even before the full consequences emerge. The cost of extreme action. Every extreme measure carries cost. For Sonny, that cost could include emotional damage, strategic mistakes, relationship fractures, increased danger. The bigger the action, the larger the potential fallout. And Sonny's actions are rarely small. Themes driving the storyline. Several key themes shape this narrative. Control versus chaos. Sonny escalates because he fears losing control, but escalation often creates more chaos. Protection versus destruction. His actions aim to protect, yet may also cause damage. Power versus vulnerability. Extreme action can project strength while revealing emotional vulnerability underneath. Why this storyline works. This arc succeeds because it builds tension around character psychology rather than simple plot mechanics. The audience is not just asking, what will Sonny do? They are asking, Franton, how far is Sonny willing to go? That question creates emotional investment. The unpredictability factor. Perhaps the most dangerous thing about Sonny in moments like this is unpredictability. When calm, he is strategic. When pushed too far, he becomes harder to anticipate. And unpredictability changes the balance of power immediately, because fear thrives in uncertainty.